Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some more vehicles from Star Wars The Force Awakens, and in today's review we are going to take a look at this one. This is the Jakku Landspeeder, a vehicle that isn't actually seen in the movie. This is the Constable Zuvio of Star Wars The Force Awakens vehicles. It's decent, don't get me wrong, it has its flaws, but for the most part it's a decent vehicle. Much better in my opinion than the First Order Snowspeeder that I previously reviewed. And yeah, it's a nice addition to the collection. Nice vehicle. And I'll talk about it in a bit more detail in just a little bit. Before I do, I'd just like to mention that this vehicle is currently on discounted price at the moment at staractionfigures.co.uk. The recommended retail price on this one, I believe, is $29.99, which in my opinion, absolute rip-off. These vehicles are not worth that much money by any means. But at a discounted price, you know, cheaper, it's decent. So I'd recommend picking it up, and there is a link down below in the video description where you can purchase one for yourself. So with the vehicle aside, let's take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. And once again, we do get the standard Force Awakens packaging design with this vehicle. As you can see at the top there, you've got Kylo Ren featured on the box with the Star Wars logo just off to the side. Strangely enough, we don't have the Force Awakens logo underneath this one, which sort of implies that this is an expanded universe vehicle of sorts. As I mentioned, you don't actually see this one on screen in the movie, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. But as you can see on the front of the box, you've got some nice artwork of the vehicle in action, as you can see manned by a couple of Jakku scavengers. And then of course you've got the window there where the included figure would sit, and in this case it's Finn, based on his appearance on Jakku. On the side of the box you've got some artwork of Finn himself, and then on the back we've got a rundown of some of the features that this one has. There are a few more features with this one than with the First Order Snowspeeder, and I'll touch base on all of those in just a moment. So that is the packaging that the Landspeeder comes in. Now let's take a look at the vehicle itself, and I'll begin by giving you a look at the figure that's included, and as I mentioned, that is Finn. Now this particular figure of Finn is really nice. It's a nice variant to the other ones that are available at the moment. As you can see, this particular version of Finn does depict him as he's stripping out of his stormtrooper armour while he treks through the Jakku desert. You've got some nice weathering on this one. As you can see, you've got sand stains and dust marks all over the figure's outfit. Obviously you've got those black trousers and t-shirt, the undergarments of the stormtrooper uniform. Also included is a blaster rifle, the same one that's included with the other Finn figures in the line. And in terms of articulation, this guy does feature the standard 5 points. We have a ball joint at the head, swivels at the shoulders and swivels at the hips. So a really nice figure. Definitely one of my favourite Finn figures to be released so far. It's just nice to see all these different variants. It's not a massive costume change, but it is nice to see nonetheless. So that is the figure. Obviously we never see him utilise the Landspeeder in the movie, but you know, a little bit of imagination never hurt anybody, did it? So there you go, you can have him on the gun turret there, looking very cool. Now as I mentioned, this particular vehicle doesn't appear on screen in The Force Awakens, but where it did appear was in a promotional video on Facebook just prior to the film's release. If you're familiar with 360 degree video, there was a video released on the official Star Wars Facebook page which allowed you to explore Jakku, and I believe that you were either at the cockpit of this vehicle or it was somewhere in the distance you could see it on Jakku itself. So I'm not entirely sure, but that is where this vehicle comes from. Whether or not it was planned to be in the movie or not, I'm not sure, but if you haven't seen it in action in the film, then you would see it in that Facebook video. Now, in terms of features, as I mentioned, there are a few additional ones included with this vehicle than with the First Order Snowspeeder, so I'll run through those now. As you can see at the front, you've got a rather large cannon, which as you can see does fire red projectiles, and you've also got a storage container there, or a storage section, for an additional missile should you lose the one that's in the cannon. There is a button on the top, of course, which you press and the missile goes firing out. There's not as much range on that one as with the First Order Snowspeeder, so it doesn't go flying out and you don't lose it as easily as the other one, but that's pretty cool nonetheless. You've also got, as I showed you earlier, a gunner's station where you can have Finn manning the turret, and this does rotate, as you can see. We've also got a control panel on the cockpit section there. You've got a sort of a makeshift steering wheel which does rotate, so for whatever reason you want to spin that around, steer the vehicle quite literally, then that's what you can do. And as you can see just off to the side, if I take Finn out of the cockpit, give you a better look, there is also a sticker there with a First Order Assault Walker featured on the screen. In terms of the overall design of this vehicle, it reminds me somewhat, like with the First Order Snowspeeder, of a G.I. Joe vehicle. You know, it doesn't really look like it jumped out of Star Wars, although if it did, it's sort of a hybrid between a Freako speeder, a Bark speeder or a regular speeder bike, and the Desert Skiff that was made by Hasbro in the early 90s. You may remember I did a review on that way back when it was re-released in the Clone Wars line. But it is a sort of hybrid of different vehicles. Again, Freako speeder at the back, speeder bike at the front. It's a really weird and wonderful design, but I quite like it. I must admit, I was a little bit hesitant with this purchase. I wasn't really sure about whether I wanted to add it to my collection, but now it's in my collection and now I have it. I really like it. Again, I like it a lot more than the First Order Snowspeeder. And it's just something different, really, really nice to have. It almost serves as sort of a background vehicle in many ways. It's not a main or core character vehicle. You know, it's not an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter by any means, but it's something nice for a diorama or display. And I really like it. Some great detail on it, as you can see. Yeah, it's just something different, really, really cool. And of course, aside from the gunner's station, there is of course a cockpit area where you can place another figure. So you can either have some Unkar's thugs sitting in the cockpit there and chasing down our heroes, or you could put Rey in there and again use a bit of imagination and recreate some scenes that maybe didn't make it into the movie. Your choice. But a cool vehicle nonetheless, and again at the price that staractionfigures.co.uk are currently offering this one for, you'd be daft to pass it up. So be sure to check it out, and again there is a link in the video description where you can do so. So that's going to do it for the Jakku Landspeeder from Star Wars The Force Awakens, or should I say from Star Wars The Force Awakens, as again, didn't actually appear on screen, but a cool vehicle nonetheless. Hope you've enjoyed having a look at this one, guys, and I'll be back with some more reviews very, very soon. Got some more Force Awakens figures to give you a look at, and slowly but surely we are working our way towards the Rogue One, a Star Wars story product as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.